What's good people? Welcome to hashtag My Be More Project. What's the 410? Where we stand in the gap of the news you can use and the positive stories that our spirits need. I'm your host, Dion Joyner Weems. It's like a tribe called Quest. You got to say it all together. And though I may wear many hats, they all sit on top of the same mission to amplify, uplift, and empower Baltimore's truth tellers and change makers. Whether that's through hashtag My Be More Project, the author of That Part What Some Know But Won't Tell You About Motherhood, or as the Chief Energy Officer of Audacity Group, a global marketing shop for global ideas. At the end of the day, we talk about impact. And in 2022, we did a listening session and found out what you and I already know. People trust people more than they do a system. That's why we're creating a space where we can center the voices of the people that are on the ground doing the work. And today we have a special guest, Dr. Dominic Farmer Nell, visionary and founder of City Weeds. Let's bring him on up. All right, Dr. Nell, how are you doing this morning?
I'm well. I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. I want to give your background, but through the background, it's like my way of being able to give you some verbal flowers. So if you can just bear with me for a moment. You ready for this?
Yes, ma'am.
Today, we're speaking to a cultivator of both soil and soul. I got to do that one again. Today, we are speaking to a cultivator of both soil and soul. Dr. Dominic Farmer Nell, the visionary behind City Weeds and a living blueprint for what it means to plant hope in hard places. Through his youth centered Be More Green program and the newly transformed Health Hub in 21217, Farmer Nell is turning food deserts into nutrient rich zones of possibility. And as a pharmacographer, I love it's the flow. And as a pharmacographer, he captures beauty, whether through a lens or a harvest, and reminds us that healing is a practice and Baltimore is fertile ground for it all. Let's welcome Dr. Farmer Nell. How are you doing, sir?
I'm
How
well. I'm well.
how is that? Was that at least a snapshot of the power work?
Absolutely. It was well worded, I would say. I was listening to see who was coming up. Like I was like, who's
All
this
right,
guy?
well,
What you talking about?
I'll give you more time to get used to it because before we jump into the interview questions, we do this segment called Day Eight. Okay, it's a way to give listeners a taste of the personality behind the position. So you're going to get 8 rapid fire questions. I haven't asked you these before. I don't need you to overthink. Just say what comes to your head. You ready? All
Sure.
right. Day 8 starting now. Crab cake, fried or broiled?
Broiled
Nickname your parents or friends used to call you.
Nick.
Name one song on your get pumped, amped, or fired up playlist.
Um, Almost there, Michael Jackson.
Oh, I love it. What's the best compliment you've ever given your plants? How do you sweet talk the microgreens?
Um, I look at them as my siblings.
This is already powerful. Would you survive a zombie apocalypse?
Absolutely. I'm surviving one.
High five. First job you ever had?
Youth counselor.
Youth counselor. Is it wrong for a vegetarian to eat animal crackers?
No, as long as they don't have milk in them.
Hey, there we go. If you had 25 hours in a day, what would you do with the extra hour?
Pray.
Man, you know how to ground us as we get into these questions. So I have a few questions for you and just speak from the heart. You often say city weeds is more than farming, it's healing. What was the moment that made you realize this work was bigger than just growing food?
Um, I would say just the looks on people's faces when it was almost like the magic of something that was ancient. and how did I get to be the vehicle to introduce that to people? When I'm seeing older elders in our community, when something reminds them of something that they saw as a child or ate, oh hey, that's what we did, that's what so and so. So it's nothing new under the sun. However, Farmer Nell, microgreens and all, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, this is just the most simplest form of being to me that it could possibly be, and for me, that's a microcosm of how far we've come from our source.
Mm,
And so it was, you know, pondering something like uh, having a roundtable meeting with the nerd in me and the nigger in me,
yay.
where they've consistently always had conflicting views and um, juxtapositions. And in the neighborhood that I'm, 21217 that I'm loving from. But all right, anybody that knows me, I went to private school. I went to school in the county. So there's also that county boy. I'm from the county block. I'm from the good block of the hood.
Yeah,
Sanford
yeah,
Place. So I couldn't escape any version of, and I'm the hardships that I chose. Keyword chose, um, were of my own, and so in that regard, being of and from 21217, but my family, grandmother specifically, making sure that I was educated outside of you know ground zero at that time. I think
yeah.
that it it complicated things for me growing up. However, that same community that kind of ridiculed me for like not being like I wasn't the blackest anything. I'm light skinned Rico, white boy, Ben Laden, anybody. I mean, the closest thing that I got to being black was Nipsey. You know what I'm saying? It's like so I'm like Nipsey. I'm like, all right, cool. The hood finally sees me as one of them and not Roy the white boy from um, what is it, New Jack City. I'm talking. I've been getting this my whole life. Like the Chicos, like versus the blacks. Whose team am I on? When I
I
grow up.
did.
So so my journey of what we would call blackness is something that is highly different from the average. And then I'm raised with the knowledge of myself and the tribes that I come from, of which the majority of them are indigenous to here. So there's
Gotcha.
even a different conversation I had with myself and using the term African American. I have more proof of otherwise than I do that. And then we can get into Africanus, the name that is named that, and you know,
Yeah, yeah.
so it is, and then just cradle of civilization, and then just the ego that we every people. This is an unpopular take right here, but the ego that of being first.
Can you go deeper
Okay.
with that?
Um. So I'll go from. I will start where we are now. It's like the first person with the information does not mean that the information is correct. So, and then we want to prove, like, say, we were the first, we were the first, we were the first to do this. So that if we were the first to do all things, that means possibly were we the first to kill? Were we
Mm,
the first to hate? Or did this happen through the grafting of another less melanated version of ourselves? And is that still not us? And in me following the creation of one end of the spectrum, color spectrum, to another end of the spectrum. There's more information in, you know, darker melanin than there would be in anything lighter than that. So me being on the cusp of that, literally, like, see the you can see the
yeah,
410, you see the
yeah.
14, but you can see the you can see the spectrum. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like so,
yeah,
and then if I stay out in the sun all summer, then me and you are in a closer spectrum. Like literally,
yeah.
like I can go from one end to another. So the farmer's tan is a is an indication of information, as I would say. And then it's
The
also
farmers.
yeah, it's also an indication of where I'm actually from, where I'm of and from. Even the ability to grow facial hair, is more of a characteristic of those from a forest, not necessarily a jungle. These are
Let me,
that I grow long nails. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but even because right now my mind is blown. I've got my list of questions, but now I can just feel something else coming because it's recognizing that you are when you're self-aware and you have the power of reflection, it offers a very layered and colorful perspective. And for me to know that you're around our youth, I think what I'm getting excited about is the impact of your work in you engaging in your fullest self with the young people of Baltimore. I can't imagine what type of prisms, like you're shifting paradigms. Can you share through through talking about your programming the impact that you've seen in, because it's not just youth. I understand it's veterans, former incarcerated adults. Like when you're talking like this and you have them out here farming, what changes have you seen in them
ooh,
specifically?
ooh, man, that gives me chills. Like I'm talking about like my rookie season, my rookie summer, first year. I'm doing it, and I'm microgreens heavy. And then, long story short, it was a group I was working with, school in South Baltimore, and they wanted us to do a garden. So I was like, wow, why didn't y'all get Walker, the urban farmer? Because Walker was top heavy in flowers, and I was top heavy in food. And here we go with this separation in our mind and categorizing stuff in our mind. And so they had us, me work with the youth, and we built these gardens using flowers. And they picked it out themselves. They built one that was like a baseball diamond, and it had yellow and black. I mean, orange and black flowers to represent the
Yeah,
Orioles, and so on for the Ravens. It was really really dope.
it's
Um,
beautiful.
and young brother, and not I'm not saying any names. So young brother, he was 16 and face full of tattoos. Very self evident of a street fraternity, and his story was he said that he and like he said he understood the value of life through cultivating a plant and watching me. And he was 16 and already been through enough to be a grown man from his story. So I was leading by example with him. And I didn't say much to him. I would give him the tools and kind of show him what I was doing, and then show him how I do it, and then how it could get done. and and we had younger kids there, so he was like in the in between youth works type of vibe, counselor, and then we had younger youth with us, say under 10. And man, he was yelling at them like, man, don't stay away from my plants and don't walk on it. And he was protecting this garden, like literally, like how they say we must protect this house.
Protecting a
He
life.
was literally protecting it. And I'm watching him, and then he says it. They have to do an interview of him afterwards, and I was long gone from the program by then, and I saw the video, and he said, "Man, I was able to watch Farmer Nell, and he taught me the value of life and how to appreciate the life cycle of in the protected community." And like I'm like, damn, I'm thinking it would be like 10, like now I would get that type of um recognition, because that recognition was a challenge. I don't
Yeah,
hear anything like that. I don't hear things like what people give us compliments as a compliment. I accept them as challenges,
yeah.
because in my mind, I was, how'd you do that? I don't know. How'd you get my son to eat vegetables? I do not know.
It's the God in you, but you know that it's the God in you, right?
I received that very, very definitely.
Okay.
The human
See,
flesh,
okay.
the human flesh has obstacles with that. The God in me is like,
Mm,
yeah, why did I do this? I knew that they were like, this is what it was written to be. the human experience is what I don't shy away from. Like I don't go
You
into.
don't.
I mean,
You
you know me, like I it not on script. I can cry like on a dime. You know what I mean? And that comes from the acting or the failed actor model version of Nell when there were scenes when I would have to cry and I would just think of some fucked up shit that happened to me. You know, I could really go right back to when, you know, you waiting at the door for your mother to pull up and she doesn't. You know what I mean? Like I go back to that abandonment, you know, stuff that's not even necessarily even healed within me. As much as I have healed, I mean, there's a great amount of stuff that probably won't be healed before my time is up, and I'm okay with that. In still healing.
And I want to say to you, as and that we've had a conversation as a mother of three sons, oldest 13, my twins 11. What do you want in front of them? Do you want perfection or do you want to see the journey? Because you learn more from the journey. So for you to be the type of person that you are for our youth and open for them, it gives them a better chance. So I want to keep the honesty and emotion going because you're painting a picture. And the big deal about the hashtag might be more this conversation is how do we financially, it's not just taking the wisdom of our truth tellers and the folks on the ground, how do we financially support them? So you've built an urban health hub in 21217 complete with teaching kitchen, a library, garden spaces, so much more. What's your vision for how this space transforms the community in the next 3 years? I want you to paint this picture so that people that are listening are like, okay, he wants to do that. Let me get this to him. So what's your vision and how do we play in that?
um, the vision is to continue to serve the community for Be More Green, the health hub itself, to be a beacon of faith for the community. Um, we were located on North and Pulaski for 4 years, and we closed down last August. So we are reopening. We have relocated to 1341 West North Avenue. That's in between Pennsylvania Avenue and Druid Hill Avenue. It's a surreal occurrence of events because I went from one situation of not knowing if I could survive and just paying the rent and not making any money for 4 years. Um, and fast forward to now, I need more money because I purchased the building and I'm around 150,000 in on the rehabilitation of it. And it's Beacon right coming right into the Black Arts District, coming right into West North Avenue, intentionally. And so that's serving as a beacon. I mean, I'm talking about as much as I can get to um, Charles Street and Station North. I'm talking about LED billboard. I'm talking about live streaming this from the billboard, like that type of technology, solar panels, as much as I can get on there without compromising the historical structure of it. And I'm right in the heart of where I'm from, 21217 Penn North. I'm right in the heart of the epicenter of the Baltimore uprising. I'm right in the heart of an open air drugway. I'm right in the heart of a subway zone. So I'm right in the mix. This is what everything I asked for, and I pondered something. If the universal call, what if our prayers actually took 3 years to be answered? Would you have faith for 3 years to stay in it? So suppose like the
Mm,
universe, like you're sending a message out and it's out there, but it's not like
work.
cell phone. It's not like this. You know what I mean? So when it comes around, be careful of what you ask for and set your intentions to, because it will show up. And when it does show up, if you weren't specific, you might not recognize it. And if you lost faith, it will bombard you with everything that you asked for, but you didn't have faith that you were going to get it. So now I'm right here in the neighborhood that I started from, looking at the vacant buildings and the vacant lots with the youth, teaching them photography. Me and Devin Allen. That's all I
Yeah.
was at that moment. I remember doing hashtag my be more then. I remember all of that. I remember the power of the whole Nellaware. That was Nellaware. Nellaware everywhere. Johnny
Yeah.
on the spot,
Yeah.
photographer dude, transformed to Farmer Nell to now, be right back on Front Street, North Avenue, um, ready to give it another shot. I mean, I was ready to give it up, man. And what that came
And
from is, go ahead.
no, no, go finish, please.
Oh, what that came from was a place that I felt like I failed the community. And in my own failures, I felt like I failed the community. And on the back end of that coin, I felt like the community, the village failed me. I had that, this is, you've heard this before, but this is, and that's the self. That's all within the ego. This is about a mission. This is about being more green. This is about be more green. This is about city weeds is what the city needs, and less about a farmer now, and even less about a Dominic now.
Gotcha.
And so I had to come further and further into myself and become that seed again to be able to see it again. To be able to see that I got exactly what I asked for. It just didn't come in 2016.
So let me ask you, with it being 2025, you've given us that vision of that 3 years ahead. No, to be really specific, someone that's listening now, angel donor, just someone who knows that I may not have the physical time, but I do want to support the work. Tell me what to do. Where do I go? How do I give the money? How do I show up? Are there any upcoming events?
Absolutely.
And I'm actually throwing that alley oop of tell
Absolutely.
us what's coming up that
Yes.
we can plug into.
Yes. So this year, once again, we're doing our prevention convention, which is a yearly event. We're doing our Juneteenth ancestral tour. It will be at the Baltimore Peninsula Marina. It will be a series of yacht tours throughout the inner bay and the inner harbor area, and we will be discussing the ancestral history of this area and all of the feet and tracks that have been before us. That is a free event. It's June 20th, Friday, 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. It's free again. We will have food from Land of Kush. We will have food from Big Bean Theory. Free again. So it's a jamboree. Come out, bring the family. The boat tours are first come, first served. There will be four of them, and everything is paid for. That's all powered by City Weeds and curated by Brown Girl Wellness. And so that's step one. We have a series of food giveaways that go on every week, but we will be highlighting them that week. For my kids, they do a food giveaway every Friday on 2036 West North Avenue, 12 noon. Umar Boxing, that's 1217 West North Avenue, and that will be at 12 noon that Wednesday. In a partnership with the Memorial Episcopal Church, I'll be conducting a Through the Lens tour, which is connecting churches and clergy with community in a real way, as opposed to just check writing, handouts, and giving. What does the engagement look like? And that's been a very unique project because we've been working in around terms such as redlining from Bolton Hill to Sandtown. A well spectrum group of folks participate in that. Um, the time and date has not been determined on that, waiting to hear back from the church, but that will be posted with everything else. The main thing I want to tell people is to come out and have a good time on June 20th from 1 to 5. and then we do a series of events called Freedom Fridays. And so we're looking to have a Freedom Friday celebration that Friday, June 20th, and we will have it at the Mill on North Avenue. Be on the lookout for um, a potential uh, partnership, I would say, with the Mill on North Avenue. Um, So looking forward to things of that nature. Either way, Freedom Fridays will be moved to the Mill on North Avenue, which is 2636 West North Avenue. So not to be redundant with North Avenue, but North Avenue is a beacon from east to west of from east to west Baltimore. And what a lot of people don't know is from day to day, outside of 95, North Avenue is the number two to number three most traveled thoroughfare in the state of Maryland. So outside of 95, people going up at 95 and around the Beltway every day.
Yeah, yeah,
North Avenue is in the top three.
straight up.
Yeah, people are North Avenue. We're talking about from Amish, Pennsylvania, from Amish, Virginia, from Virginia Beach. And then imagine the routes that get rerouted through North Avenue now that the bridge has been compromised. So I follow all
Right.
product goods and all.
It's
It's a whole little rabbit hole
no,
in
because
there.
you're looking at the rabbit hole, the trends. I what I've been clear in seeing how you move is the strategy and the partnership. So
Oh
this
yeah.
is going off the top of my head. It's just you struck me, and as you're even naming the partners, you're not doing this by yourself. There is a list of community workers or people that are on the ground, and you're coming together. With this platform,
Boots on the ground.
there's a red flag that I'm trying to raise for people to understand that if you and the people that you work with continue to face the barriers that you face for resources and support, that you're literally the first line of defense for all the ills that people are concerned about in major urban cities. So for people that are watching, can you paint a picture for folks of the necessity of this grassroots nonprofit community being able to work together and not fight against each other to do the work that you're all passionate about? Did that make sense? Is there a
Yes. The what is the specificity that you are asking me? Because I don't want to go off into a tangent. So what do you want me to share?
I I want you to be able to paint a picture for audience members that they don't have the time to do this work. They're able to see that there are challenges that exist. They are aware that there are people out there that are who have the heart to do the work, but I don't think they understand how much work is required for you to do what
Hmm.
you do in partnership with people like some of the people that you've named, some of the people that you even named for this event. You're all working to get grants, you're all working to get resources, but you're doing this with intention to work together. But that can be a challenge. And I'm not sure that the general public understands that. And but you're at the heart of it. I want you to be
Okay.
able to paint that
Okay.
picture for folks.
So yeah, I mean, they could easily turn into a crabs in a barrel type of situation. The way I look at it, and this is in the name of good. This is in the name of stewardship. This is in the name of quote unquote nonprofit. So for specific City Weeds is an LLC. I'm not a nonprofit anything. So I know that I spent my money to help and feed the community. And so I have to make money in order to feed the community. So um, I do know what it's like to get grants and things of that nature. And there is an animal or there is a competitive nature. So there's a version of who I have to be in the raising money and grant world is almost out of the being of what I'm standing for. So I'm standing for gratitude and peace and tranquility and these methods that are healing to the community. And so when you have like 30 to 50 organizations trying to get the same pot of money, and then they're only going to give it to 10 organizations, and that and then that's 10,000 per or 25,000, whatever number we want to put in there, and then they spoon feed it to you. They'll take a picture of you and say, "Hey, we just the Farmer Nell City Weeds got awarded this," and I'm like, "All right, 90 days from now, I'll follow up, to see when the check is going to come. The big check we took the picture with, I got that. I got that over there, but I can't spend that. You know what I'm saying? So like that part, or then just the micromanage of the spoon feeding of the money. Like you seen on my budget that the juicer I wanted cost $7,000, and we were awarded $24,000. But you want to spoon feed us 4,500 every month? So
Yes.
I can't even buy the juicer up front, or if I'm buying it, I'm in the hole. Or like there's so many variables of um, even if we want to get down to STEM. STEM comes with I love science, technology, engineering, and math all the way, but mine is called STREAM, and not to compete with STEM. It's like my students need to learn how to read. Like STEM comes with a preconception that this student can read, and guess what? You don't have to be able to read to understand science, technology, math, or engineering. Look at what this is. They don't even can write a full sentence but understand science, technology, engineering, and math. So, but reading has to be included in that. And then STREAM, STREA, A stands for anything. Teach them anything else. Agriculture, aquaponics, athletics, aesthetics, art. You know what I'm saying? Architecture, you know what I mean? Archery. So yes, and so in that, to me, it's the same. It's the same. It's the same effects of the white power structure and the supremacy of it. I'm just going to cut to the chase. That wears the face of capitalism. That it's kind of hard or no way around it um, to stay in business. So the last 2 years, I've been studying the business of making money and how to make money in business,
Understood.
because that's what
Understood.
I did not understand. I went into straight mission and called it and slapped the LLC on it. And then just it hit the ground running and kept doing the work. And then when I saw how much this thing cost, I had to hustle man set in. Okay, this costs 60, I gotta make 100. This costs 100, I gotta get 120.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like I was cumulatively balling up those like, oh well, you got 40 to yourself. No, this money was sporadically piecemealed out. We can say we raised over 300,000 in 4 years, and I'm proud of that. And if I don't have this building that I've purchased to show for it, then what do I got to show for it? But then I'm right back into, okay, hey y'all, I still need your help if you want me to continue to help us. It's
If you still want to, yeah. I see the cycle. I
the
see the,
Ubuntu, like literally, I am because we are. I got here because of the living well. I got here because of many other villages loved on me. I was everybody's second string
yeah.
photographer until I might have got the number one shot. I didn't mind being on the bench. That's what people don't understand. Like, in order to get in front of this camera or Farmer and all of this, whatever the case may be, is are you okay with being the guy on the bench, listening and watching? Are you okay in showing up and doing the job to 100% and not getting any money? Are you okay with that? You know what I'm saying? They said, mine is a reverse. Jay said, everybody wanted to be Bobby Brown. But in order to be Bobby then, you got to be Bobby now.
Mm,
So, okay, everybody want to be Farmer Nell or whatever. Okay, then you got to go through Farmer Nell's, the hell of Dominic Nell. You know what I'm saying? Like, Nell's hell. You know what I mean? To get to the farmer, like, and I don't want to serve anybody that, like, I wouldn't want that. You know what I mean? So for me, it is a lot about the journey because that's where the lessons of the messages come from that equal the blessings. And then the blessings are going to be far too much for me to consume with myself. So there's the partnerships. I have made a commitment to myself to not do anything collectively more than 20%. So I'm 20% of the 100% of our project. My Baltimore, this podcast. I will add 20% to that to be a
Yeah,
part of that. If that, like, for an
I
example.
hear you.
And and
I hear
so
you.
so there's 80% of the work that someone else has to do. We collectively. That's what boom. Literally collectively, the words are coming, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, what I'm saying is like and I'm learning through that. This is, you see what the shirt says? It's not shirt.
I'm saying I didn't want to interrupt your flow because I'm like, as you're talking as a brand marketer, I'm like, you saying it with your chest. I hear your word, but you're already saying it with
Yeah, yeah.
your
And then
chest.
so and then showing the community that, hey, I'm here for you and I'm not waiting on the city nor the state or any of these other things, although the intelligent, informed man is filling out everything's flying and smoking and going through. And he also sees like, damn, so somebody's not gonna get this money. So somebody's gonna lose in this equation. You know what I'm saying? In this everybody, so looking for other platforms of how do we are able to generate for ourselves that the grant monies and all of this other money is the pocket change. Well, that's the money that we take a trip and get to spend rather than that's the fuel of our whole fire and it gets burnt up as soon as they give it to us because we're really doing the work. And so, yes, I want to thrive. That's in City Weed's mantra is planting seeds of independence and thrivability on purpose. I don't want to just sustain. Sustain, I want to start. That's the floor. And that's for our community. What I want
Yeah.
for myself, I want for my brother, my sisters, my mothers, my uncles, my whole community. Like my plants, my sibling plants.
Which was a beautiful response. It's the thing is, I want you, what you've just explained, to some may feel like it goes over their heads. And that is why I am asking people to continue explaining it, because people need to understand the behind the scenes, because we live in a social media world where they'll hear your brand, they'll hear your name, they see the pictures of people holding the checks, and they believe that everything is okay because they're just getting the surface. It's not until you start hearing from different people that they've already established trust to be able to put them on
Yeah.
game. So I'm not going to keep you forever. I just want one to say thank you for taking that time, and I don't want you to feel like it was wasted. It's with intention and purpose there.
Yeah, hopefully there's
Um,
some takeaways out of my rants and my tears, and or just people seeing the behind the scenes of the guy behind Farmer Nell or Dr. Nell, or what does it take to even. I'm approaching like 10 years of being a business owner and just understanding the actual business of business. You know what I mean? And
well, let me ask you this. I want to ask you the business of shifting language, because there's a lot of buzz around food deserts. Food deserts, I mean, that was hammered home, but you're calling them nutrient priority zones. Why does that shift in language matter?
um, well, what happened was that there was a term that got used as healthy food priority zones. And I was like, okay, I didn't come up with that one, but it felt like they were trying to sugarcoat food desert or food swamp because I was like, okay, some of these aren't deserts. Desert connect technically is there's no access to food in a mile of where you live. So a human being, the average human being, we're not speaking of elders, is built to walk a mile to get food. So if you don't have a healthy option of food in a mile of distance, then that's a food desert. We live in food swamps because it's swamped with quote unquote things that are called food, but it's not high and it's not nutrient dense. So that's why my whole microgreen, the nutrient density and all of that. And I'm just like, okay, these are that's what spoke the most to me in with the microgreens. It was something so small that you could just add to something that packed so much of a punch. And from us, just the black community itself, just being vegetable and chlorophyll deficient, what was the quickest vehicle to get it back in their system was the microgreens. Okay, no, put it in the juice, put it in the smoothie, like put it in anything that, so I come up with the four S's. Like, well, what do you do with them? Some people still don't understand it. So I said, okay, let me break it down simple. You can put it on your soups,
Yeah.
you can put it on your soups,
Yeah.
you can put it on your salads, and you can put it on your sandwiches, and you can put it on your smoothies. And so that's four S's right there. Microgreens is just means it's 10-day-old vegetables, 7 to 10-day-old vegetables, meaning that if you've eaten baby kale or baby arugula or something of that nature, then the stage right before that, it was a microgreen. The stage right before microgreen is bean sprout. So this is, like I said, this is the fancy or the technical word that we use. It's a microgreen. So it's the micro kale, it's micro arugula, it's micro leek.
So
There's not
wait,
a
wait,
special
wait, wait.
seed.
When you're standing there, because so like when describe for people like when they meet you in the community, they see the tray of greens. Because even how you've explained the city weeds, can you explain this is what you're seeing and how I break it down for folks?
Okay. So microgreens is taking basically like a it's the recycled fibers from coconut we use as soil. So it's called a cocoa pad. And there's a 7-day theory that I grow in. You put the seeds on top of the pad and you spray them with water. Then you put them in complete darkness. This is 3 days. So I'll look at them, spray them with some more water. Second, third day, you're going to start to see them sprouts. It's going to look like little bean sprouts. Some of them will still be seeds. That's when then there was light. Then light cycle comes on the fourth day. So on
Mm-hmm.
day 7, on the seventh day, you have what you've seen me have. Those microgreens is like a field of greens, just a miniature field of greens.
Mm-hmm.
Now in that 7 days, if we want to use the 7-day theory, every it's perfection. So everything is everything that's in that radish, that micro radish, that micro kale, to make it become whatever kale size kale and radish, that's like the embryo. It has every single thing. And
Oh,
because
okay.
it's so small, it's the nutrient density. So what I saw mine living. So Google will say that microgreens have 40 to 100% more nutrient density than a fully grown vegetable. So what does that mean, farmer? Now that means I can take a microgreen of red cabbage, which is like a sprout to most people,
It's
and
little.
and
Yeah.
then you yeah, and then
Yeah.
you can eat a whole head of red cabbage. You eat the whole head of red cabbage. I'll eat the microgreens, and then the nutrient density that I got from that is surpassing. As I'm waiting for you to finish yours, and I'm waiting for you to
Are you
digest
serious?
yours, I've already processed it. It's gone to my brain, and then so
That's
you can even
dope.
see it when we give it to the kids. Like the kids start eating it, they're like,
You can I can just
and
cook it and eat it right there.
yes,
Just
living food. I mean, this perplexed me. I'm a nerd, so I'm just like, all right, man. If the community don't get this, fine. I can't unsee this. I can't undo this. Like this, and feeding it to grandma. Made sure my grandmother had that, and um, keeping her around longer than we had expected. Things of that nature, elongating life. Um, and then it gets down to the sea mosses and the other stuff that
yeah.
city
Yeah.
weeds has been responsible for. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the pandemic and the 147 people that were healed. Get my words correct. That were healed via City Weeds products.
Go
Because if
deeper.
I say, well, People say
Whoa.
thank you for people will send me a text. Thank you for curing me of XYZ of the pandemic. And I'm like, oh. So then there was a they was like on the underground world, they were calling me Dr. Nipsey. Um and this is before I got my doctorate.
This
I
before
got
the
that last
doctorate. All
year.
right.
So they were it was the Dr. Nipsey, like called us Dr.
Yeah.
Nipsey, people from South Carolina. So I went to school in Carolinas and so in college. And
Yeah.
so a lot of them were hit by a storm. They, Dom, could you send this stuff down? Sent it down. Can you send it to my family? They live in Texas. Can you send it? I was sending stuff to coordinates. So please understand, I was going to FedEx and I was giving them coordinates,
No.
not just
That,
addresses. I'm giving them longitude and latitudes for them to drop what city weeds made that helped people heal themselves. You understand the words? Like, so people like,
that's
you're the healer,
powerful.
you heal. Like, I didn't heal, I'm still healing myself. I've made products that people in following directions were able to heal themselves of whatever and then it wasn't just COVID. People say, hey, I got this. You got something. What do you do for this? What do you do for that? Now I'll just be real ginger with that, like, So then that became of okay, well, and so now it's either you're listening to me or you're listening to your physician and things of that nature. So I don't want to cause a ultimate conflict, but I absolutely want to be a total disruption. I mean, I
Okay.
want to I want to wreak havoc in disrupting this system, but I don't want to cause any conflict. You saw the change of face. You saw I did that. You saw that.
You should. That was acting and scene. All right.
Oh
But
yeah.
let me ask you this, and this can be our wind down, unless there is anything more that you want to share from your heart. I would be remiss if I didn't focus on the photography, but it's from the angle of what inspired you to create farmtography, and how does the camera tell a different truth about this work that you're doing?
Hmm. As I scratch my metas, Ray-Ban, y'all better give me some money for this because
You're
this is gonna
brand recognition. Yes, sir. Yes,
good.
sir.
Yeah, what I was gonna film it, but I didn't want to mess up. I'm talking through the glasses, and so I'm hearing you in the glasses right now. So
Hey,
so
Dr.
the
Nell,
extracurricular video wasn't gonna mix. I was like, damn, I'm not. I wanted to film this, but if I press the film, does that? So um,
I adore you.
what was it? So photography and farm. Yeah, it was. Um, so it was how could I kill um how could I accomplish multiple things by doing one thing? And the one thing that I'm like, all right, so let's just say it like this. There's a version of Nell, my core self. He's the prick. That was also a nickname. I just said Nick, but Prick Nell was also one of a previous name. So a couple of my buddies, they hear that, they'll laugh at that. So it went from Nick Nell from football to prick now. So what Prick Nell says, I have a whole Nell versus Farmer Nell. Like I'm rapping
Mm,
against myself.
yeah.
And so Nell is telling Farmer Nell that he's a social media champ. If you don't post it, they don't see it and it don't exist. So you're a paper farmer, you're a lab farmer, you're a TV farmer. Nell gives Farmer Nell the
Hell,
blues.
hell, hell. Uh-huh.
Hell. And then so I'm like, okay. So in that Farmer Nell takes on those challenges is like, okay. Um, and so yeah, I haven't posted nothing about no one even knows I closed Be More Green down. Because why? I didn't post it. So I did for 1 year from June to June. I ain't post nothing about Be More Green other than maybe I'm at a school doing a workshop or something like that. Like the stuff that I've been doing. That's Farmer Nell out in the field. But as far as the
Yeah.
business itself, I ain't post a product. Ain't nobody asked to buy nothing. So I'm just like, we have come to a cusp of life where if people don't see it, it literally don't exist. So you want to ask, how does the photography and the farmography play into it? The photographer is what got this nigga on TV. The photographer is what recorded all of the microgreens, the kids eating them, taking pictures of them, da 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 da. So you know what I mean? Like even Farmer Nell said, like Nell says, man, if I wasn't, Nell said something to Farmer Nell. He said, man, if I wasn't busting my ass around here taking these pictures, you would still be running around these streets chasing them
Prissy.
itches. There'll be
The fact you
pictures,
felt like
itches.
you needed to add it was like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, and I'm just that's just self-awareness, you know what I'm saying? Like being
I hear
googly-eyed and just love with love and in love with life and in love with aesthetics and in love with beauty. Hence I want to take pictures of it. Hence I want to capture it and see it forever and look at it again. Um,
you. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
who does that feed? Who does that feed?
Mm.
Even coming from the starving artist, like I was at a torn apart with the Artscape Farmers Market thing. I'm an artist and I'm a farmer. And I'm like, okay, that's farm photography to me. It's like, okay, how do we keep the farmers market and build our art around it? Because the farmers market is artscape to me every Sunday.
I hear you.
Like
Yeah.
every week of my life is every year, meaning that I'm not waiting all year just for a Christmas feeling or a Kwanzaa feeling. I'm not waiting all year for Thanksgiving. I'm not waiting all year for my birthday. I'm not waiting all year for New Year's. Monday through Sunday, Sunday through Saturday is all of that. I mean, Ramadan, we can fast. Lent, I fast 48 to 70. We talked about that. I don't eat 2 to 3 days a week. And then I'm partying like a rock star during the weekend. And then I go back during a monk, transform into the monk during the week. And vacillate between extremes within there. Because that's how we live the fullest version of ourselves in our lives. And
Yeah.
yeah, it takes money and
Yeah.
resources and all that stuff to do that. Like, I'm not going to be one to say that it doesn't. What I will say, it wasn't no money or any of that or those things that had me come to these conclusions. It was my experiences. So now, yeah, I want to generate X amount of money because I want to go here and it costs this, and I want that experience. So the cost is just what I need to do. It's that's not the object anymore. I've shown myself in doing stuff in the name of community that all things are possible through the spirit.
Yeah.
The flesh is what's going to always get in my way and get in most people's way. It's just it's managing the time that we have here is very key, um, and enjoying yourself. If you don't like, don't what I will say is me have walked away from the plantation. Let's just say at age 23. So I'll be 50 next year. So I'm totally oblivious to like I don't know what some people are talking about, or even certain stresses or anything. I really don't know what people are talking about. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, when Apollo was getting beat up by Drago, I'm like, get out of there. I'm like, you know what I mean? What are you like?
Yeah.
And my asset was I ain't have shit when I started this, so I ain't have no distractions. I didn't have no comfort zone where I'm just doing the check coming. No, I'm hustle mode, hustle. My biggest asset was I didn't have nothing else to talk me out of doing this motherfucking grind.
Hear you.
I didn't
Yeah.
have nothing to talk me out of that, man. I had $15 in my bank account when Melvin Williams, rest in peace, the notorious little Melvin Williams, gave me the opportunity to have my first photography studio. And I'm talking to him as if this got to be for Keon, rest in peace, or this got to be for somebody else I know. He's asking me, he said, how much would an artist, and then he saw me with a camera, he said, how much would a photographer pay for a month for this space? I would say, man, like, man, like maybe $100 a week. So like $400 a month, something like that. This is what he said. He said, add 100 onto that and you got a deal. And I'm like, you got a deal? I'm not even knowing I'm making a deal with this man. I'm seeing him on the humble coming out of Penn North with my backpack with the big dumb laptop and headphones
Wow.
and camera, waiting for the opportunity to come. I'm this is 2013 or something like that, and he sees me. He's like, "Now I want you to take a trip with me." Now, and we boom, we'll go down to Northern Pulaski, where brother Rashid is now. That's where Lil Melvin's flea market was, and he had me in my first studio. It had a recording studio and everything. 500 a month. So as I'm walking away from there, I have $15 to my name. I can't even withdraw any money. I couldn't even withdraw any money. I had $15 to my name. And this is where that whole Nell and the whole shoulder thing. I was walking down the street. I asked myself, I said, man, how the fuck am I going to do this? And Nell came right in my ear and said, how the fuck we not gonna do this?
Come on.
And the
Come
journey
on.
began there. The journey began there, man. And he left us in 2015, and the journey got steep. You know what I mean? Then I had to go to the copycat. I was in the copycat building over in Station North, getting spit at white people. The whole juxtaposition of an experience. I'm the neighborhood ascending hero in Penn North, and I'm a peon black speck in the population of the copycat building of Station North. And I had to go through that because I
Yeah.
was journeying. I wanted to be an artist. I wanted to. That was Nell's art. I was doing Nell's art on some Mozart shit. And guess who I became? I became Farmer fucking Nell. I went over there to be an artist. I went over there to do my photography studio because Melvin's place that it just
Yeah.
it wasn't an option anymore. He was gone. And in me going there to get to do photography, I come out with Nell's art, Farmer Nell, and an Airbnb superhost. Like among, it's like go. So in 6 months, I'm in there with a bunch of less melanated brothers and sisters. We had a half pipe skateboard in there, like so. And then I'm like, I'm going all the way in because I've been white boy, Rico, whatever. Niggas been calling me everything my whole life. I wore the Gap. I was Abercrombie and Fish and Britches and all of that. And Chuck Taylor's skateboard shoes. I've been doing that shit my whole life. It's just you might as well thought I'd have been a tattoo artist by now. You know what I'm saying? Like so I dove right in. I'm like, all right, here's another part of me that I don't have to hide. If I am this, that, and the third, if I am the white boy they say I am, I should be fine over here. No, you's a nigga over there, bro. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You and so I take these everybody that's hearing this, I use a word called compound interest. I'm using every single thing that I've been through. I'm not wasting any seeds or peel on anything. My life is like what I do with a watermelon. I peel a watermelon, I use the peel and put it in a blender and freeze it. That's smoothie. That's like wheatgrass. The watermelon rind, I cut that up in strips and I pickle that. The watermelon flesh, I cut half of it with seeds, of course, and that's what I eat. The other half of it, that's what I drink. I eat the seeds. What I'm saying is like that, like
It's a lot. It's compound. And
start living
every
will be compound interest. That I'm getting all that magnesium, all of that hydration, and I'm using that as a metaphor. I'm using that because we don't have enough time for me to go into the compound interest
but,
of all the Nells and the Dominic isms and all this.
but the thing is, and that's the thing, and that's where I feel we can relate in the fact as we wind down, you are your existence, how you move, just in a brief encounter with you, you feel the impact of compound interest. Like, so
Hmm.
you don't need more hours in the day for whoever is watching this to feel the depths, the levels here, Dominic. Like I want to end this in saying, now I can hear myself in your glasses, Dominic. That's cool. That's really cool. Yeah. Like but when I say thank you, it's you show up in your full self. And where we compare is when we say that whatever room you see us in, that's the same person you're going to see in whether it was in the church pew, the conference room, the street corner, we were passing in the bathroom. It's the same person. And that's the gift that you give to other people, this permission to be their full selves. And the way that you talk about that watermelon, that's life. Life is going to life. The idea is for you to take from the pain, the purpose for that next level. And it's just more and more levels of it. So I want to say thank you to you for being your full self. And if there is any final word that we know about the event, any way that we can support you, hashtag my Be More, Dion Joyner Williams, we got you. We got you. So I just want to say thank you to you.
Give thanks. Give thanks. Thank you for giving me this opportunity on your platform to share, more importantly, to learn. You know, you're my idol in a lot of ways. Farmer Nell being a walk of faith and mission pulled me away from maybe what the version of what Delaware was going to be with videography and material and things of that nature. And one thing that I enjoy about myself is the ability to live vicariously through others. Like anybody that knows me like there's no lying in me and there's no hate. I I would give I give my meals to people in that. So in that, like, I'm gonna give you your flowers too, man. And I wanna salute you for what you're doing and understanding the transitions that we're both going through, that you're giving me something to look up to. And I needed, I was like, I need something. I was like, I need something. I need to make some news. I was like, I need some press. And right before that occurrence, I had a strategy. I needed to get with you and I needed to get with Solar. And it's in my business and marketing. It's like it was almost life or death. Like I'm fucked up. I have so much shit and I can do it all and I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it. It's not getting done. I'm getting more footage and da 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 da. Made my first reel all year yesterday from the Give Black festival.
Yeah.
So was so happy. It took me an hour to make it. Was so happy I made it, and then the music cut off halfway. And my meticulous little fine tuning self with that almost hit me, would traumatize me. But saying all of that is, you've given that platform by you taking this leap of faith and pioneering this lane. And then what's the 410? And I got 410 on my arm. I'm all thinking I wanted to wear my 410 hat. I'm like, damn, I gotta go across town to get it. And so yeah, man, I want to give you as much flowers as possible. Because Ubuntu, I am because we are. Like, this is the fuel that fuels me. Like, I am the gift that continues to give, especially when given to. And so City Weeds what the city needs. Be more cleaner, be more green. They didn't give us 40 acres and a mule. We asking for 40 vacants and some tools.
Yo, let's end it. Let's end it right here. And with that, we out.
I just want you to be great. I just want you to be great. I just want you to be great. Even if it means you gotta leave me and you don't wanna be baby, look baby, I'm straight. I just want you to be great. I just want you to be great. I just want you to be great.